with Rachel. I know it's supposed to start at 2, but 2 o'clock came and went. I totally lost track of time today, so sorry for logging on late. But thank you for joining me, and y'all might be watching this after the live show since I'm starting late. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is using Chrome and some of the extensions I've been using within Chrome. So the first thing I have to ask you guys is which browser to use and why do you use it? You know, we have Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla, and Safari, so why do you use the browser you use? Probably a few years ago now, I started using Chrome because I work on multiple site campuses, and so it was very frustrating to me that I was building this awesome educational bookmark library for myself, and then when I would go to the site campuses, I didn't have that library anymore. The site campus computers don't, when you open a browser, it doesn't remember what you opened it before. It wipes them down most of the time, depending on which campus you're on. So that was really frustrating. And then I learned about Chrome. And so Chrome, you can log in using your Google account. And then through that account, you can have access to all of your bookmarks. So if I open Chrome on a site campus computer, I can log into my Gmail account there, and it'll bring up all my bookmarks. This also works on my cell phone, which is an Android, and it also works on my iPad, which is Apple. So it doesn't matter what device I'm using or where I'm located or what computer I'm using, as long as I have Chrome downloaded, I can sign into Gmail and get those bookmarks that I want. So I really love that about Chrome, and Chrome has started to really branch into the use of extensions a lot more. So I wanted to show you guys some of the extensions I'm loving, and then if y'all are using any extensions to help you be more productive, or maybe it's for social reasons you have them on there, then you know, share those down below in the comments. So let me switch over to my screen here. Well, there we go. Okay, so when you've added a Chrome extension, obviously I'm only using ones that are free. They'll show up on your web browser in the top right. So you can see I have several Chrome extensions already loaded up right now. My computer here at work is kind of a wider monitor, and so I had more Chrome extensions and then I removed them. So let's start with some of my fun extensions. One of the first ones I removed was called Tabby Cat. I like to have a few fun things on my desktop computer to keep me calm, and just something fun to look at during my day. I always have pretty backgrounds on my computer because of that. And Tabby Cat, every time I would open a new tab, it would have a picture of a cat that you could interact with. Well, I had to take Tabby Cat off because I was playing a lot with that. So I added a new kind of fun thing that would help keep me motivated, which is called Momentum. And that's the little green M here. And so when Momentum is turned on and you open a new tab, it gives you a new background. You can choose your theme of what type of backgrounds you show. So I like to have nature backgrounds because they're calming for me. And one thing I really like about Momentum is it's supposed to kind of give you a positive moment in your day. So as soon as I turn my computer on, I like to go to my Momentum. I have mine set to where it'll give me the time, the weather. It always says your name, and then it asks me what my main focus is for the day. So let's say today I really wanted to work on being more mindful of my breathing, or whatever mindful thing I'd want to do, and typing with one hand is not working out for me. Breathing. And you can put that in, and it's not necessarily a to-do list. It's just supposed to be one thing that you can come back to during your day to help keep you motivated. So at the end of my day, I like to take a mindful moment and reflect on this, and if I accomplished my goal for the day, I give it a little check mark. If you want to do this throughout your day, there is a little plus sign on here, and you can actually put a new focus if you've completed one. The program keeps a log of these and you can reference them later. Something else I have mine set to is just for a little motivational quote down here at the bottom. Again, these are just kind of something nice to come to when I first log on my computer during the day. So this is a little bit more productive than using Tabby Cat. There is a settings, like I said, you have a few different things that you can choose about it. They also have an upgraded version to where you can put in a to-do list. So if you use, especially Wunderlist, I know a lot of people use that, or Todoist, you can add these on if you pay for the upgrade fee. So currently I don't do that. I don't really find my to-do lists being that daunting that I need them in my web browser as well. But you can pay for that if you're really big into to-do lists. Momentum will come in with that. So again, it's kind of adding a little mindfulness to your to-do lists. So some other things that are more about productivity is I have my Google Drive launcher here. So I can go straight into creating a new document. And then I also have my Microsoft Office, and it looks very different than the Drive, and I haven't really decided which version I like better. I think I'm leaning towards the Microsoft Office version because it's showing me my most recent documents, so I can go straight to those documents. I can also open documents from my OneDrive account or directly from my computer. And then also I can generate a new document that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint. All of these are going to be the online versions of these. It's not going to open it on my computer. It'll open it in the web browser. Here, let's just click one so we can see what that would look like. Some of you might have heard me talk about Word before. And I haven't... Well, it's not connecting right now. It did tell me that my internet access was a little weak in here right now. So one thing that some of y'all might have heard me talk about is I haven't used Microsoft Word in a while. So by using the Microsoft Word Online, it actually gives you fewer word processing capabilities, and I like that. It makes it look more streamlined, and it's easier for me to use. You guys saw Dawn do a live session on Sway the other day, so this will take me straight to making a Sway. I've also been working some with OneNote. Look for a few weeks. I'm going to do a little live preview of that and how I have some ideas of how to go paperless with that in your class. The one thing that I'm kind of upset about is the first four are things that are desktop applications. Sway is an online application, so this button makes it very easy to go and work on a Sway through my account, but it's missing the Forms feature. Forms is an online feature just like Sway is, so I don't understand why Forms is not on here. And I use Forms probably the most out of all my Microsoft things, so I'm hoping they update this to include Forms. So my two kind of cloud services and ways that I can make documents. I also have Pinterest on here. So I opened up the Mobile Fellows blog earlier. So if this was something that I wanted to add to a Pinterest board, if you click your Pinterest tab, it takes you directly to pinning directly to your board. So if you're familiar with Pinterest, that's a really handy tab to use. If you've never thought about it, I know several instructors that use Pinterest as a way to share information with their students because students can follow you on Pinterest. I also have my Google Calendar, which will give me a list of what I have going on, and I can create a new event directly in the web browser. I don't have to open up a secondary application. And I also have Trello here. If you've never heard of Trello, this is really nice for working with groups of people. These are called cards. They're kind of like little to-do lists, and it's really good for collaboration. For my own personal to-do lists, I like to use my Google Keep here. If you initially press the Google Keep button, it'll actually make whatever web page you're in into a Keep note. So this is kind of like a web clipper. So I can take and make a note directly out of the web page I'm visiting. So I love that, especially if it's a web page that I want to read later. I use my Google Keep button with that, and it saves it automatically. You can push delete if you don't want to save it. So that's in my Google Keep. You can also, if you right click on the Google Keep option, you can go to the actual Google Keep app, and you can see everything open up there. So you can see the new notes that I pinned straight from my web browser there. I did a Google Keep last semester in the spring. I am still obsessed with Google Keep. For me, it is one of the easiest to-do lists out there. You can see from my other lists, you can do little check boxes. This is actually, it was showing how you can take your text and it can make like something that's handwritten and it'll make it into text. You can add pictures, and you can make actual reminders which will sync with your calendar. You can make them collaborative. There's a lot of things we can do with Google Keep. So that is definitely by far one of my favorite extensions. So those are some of my productivity extensions. And then this last extension is an extension for a web browser, and it's also something that you can download for your desktop computer or your laptop at home, and it'll work with any Microsoft product, and it's called Grammarly. So if any of y'all are watching this and y'all have experience with Grammarly, I would love to know what you guys think. I am new to using Grammarly, but so far I'm obsessed with it. So why is it on my web browser? Well, there's two reasons. One, just like with Google Keep, you can click on it and actually go to the Grammarly website. So Grammarly is something that is going to help check your grammar. So you can upload a document from any source that you've word processed in. So if you had a Word document, you can upload that. I know some writers use some other apps for their writing, so you can upload that. And then you can open your document, and it gives you, suggestions. And you can kind of see that over here to the side. So right now, this might not look, a whole lot different from Word to you guys, but I'm going to show you what this looks like in Word in a second. Something else that I'm loving about Grammarly, besides being able to upload my documents and have them word processed online, is you'll notice, for example, here in my Google Keep, anywhere I see this little swirl, Grammarly can work inside of other applications. So if I'm writing a note here, Grammarly is going to let me know that I have some typos. So without Grammarly, the web browser itself wouldn't make these corrections. So it underlined it in red, I right-clicked it, it shows you what your original word is, and then it gives you some options of what you could change it into. Again, I really like this. I don't like that it's trying to predict how I'm supposed to change it. Especially as a chemist, I found that the predictions usually aren't very correct. So this will give some options of what it thinks you're trying to spell, and if one of them are correct, you can click on it and it will change it in the note. So Grammarly works with a few different applications I've noticed online so far. But since I use Google Keep for a lot of things, this has been very handy. So kind of taking this out of the web browser, those are all the extensions I'm using. So again, we have some that help me be mindful, some that help me be more productive at work, and then some that just help me with my overall creating documents, word processing, things like that in a kind of quicker manner through my web browser. So I don't have to click through all these windows like I normally would on my computer. So I downloaded Grammarly for my desktop computer. And so it's something that you can enable or disable in Word and on email. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys this document I'm working on because I read several reviews that said word processing on Word was better than Grammarly. And I personally kind of am starting to disagree. So again, if y'all have used this, please let me know down below if you've used Grammarly before. So this is, I have it disabled right now. So this is what Word is telling me is wrong with this document. We can see if it's underlined in blue, y'all know that is more of a sentence structure situation. And here is what Word is telling me. It's trying to get me to make atoms not have multiple, and then trying to get me to add a word in there. And none of these suggestions are ones that I feel are applicable for what I'm trying to achieve with this sentence. So that's probably one that I've probably ignored in the past. And you can see in my document, there's no other blue underlines. There's one red underline, but that's an abbreviation that means aqueous. So there's nothing else that I would really correct with this. Well, if I enable Grammarly, you can see that in that same spot where there was a blue squiggle, now there's a green mark. And again, over here on the side, Grammarly doesn't automatically change things for you. It gives you options. And even more than that, and for myself, and I think for students as well, one thing that I'm loving about Grammarly is it tells you why it thinks you need what it's suggesting. So I've actually seen some rubrics on D2L where instructors have created things like this to try to better educate their students about their writing. So I think it's neat that Grammarly has this built in. And it kind of explains why I'm missing a comma. And then it tells me, here's an example of the comma being used incorrectly, similar to what I'm doing. And then here's how it should be used correctly. This is something that I should probably update in my document. So just like we did on the web browser, you click it and it'll make the change in your live document here. There are two more suggestions down here on the bottom that with the word processing, it didn't even attempt to suggest anything for this. So if I go over to the one that says available to, it states that there's a word missing. Again, it gives me kind of a description here with some examples. So if I want to keep it, I can click it and then it updates my live document. Now down here, and this is one thing that I think is really neat about Grammarly, the word maybe was a real word, and so the word processing through Word itself didn't pick up on this, but Grammarly is also checking my actual grammar, not just the spelling. And so I actually meant to put in maybe. And so again, it tells you that the context of this word isn't correct. And I thought that was really neat because I don't feel that Word does the context like Grammarly's doing. Grammarly is also a paid service, so it has some advanced things that it can do. You can also tell it what you want it to select. So if I only wanted it to do grammar and none of the contextual stuff, I could unhighlight those. Of course, some of y'all have probably heard that I'm not the best writer, and y'all probably see my emails with a few typos. So hopefully Grammarly will start to help me a little more with that. If this is something people are interested in, would it be worthwhile to have this on school computers? So that way when students are writing their essays through Word, since everybody has a Microsoft 365 account, should Grammarly be a part of that package? I just think that's something interesting to kind of think about. And also, like I mentioned, through Outlook, which is still a Microsoft product, you can have Grammarly turned on or off with that as well. And same thing with the Word document. It has a secondary window that shows you where the errors are. So here's kind of a sample sentence I started to type up. And so if I put in paper space work, this is not something that the Word version would pick up because paper and work individually are separate. But over here, the Grammarly window, you can always tell down here at the bottom, it'll say checking while it's checking, and then it'll tell you if you have any issues. So you can see that it says this word's been written. And so just like before, it doesn't automatically change anything. So it gives you your before and after and an explanation. You can probably tell that some of the explanations are a little longer than others, but if something you want to keep, you just click it. And I really like that action because it makes me think about, well, is this a grammar error that I should fix? And I don't feel that Word gives you that opportunity. So once I click it, it updates my email. Well, that's all the extensions that I'm currently using. Sorry, I'd already taken down Tabby Cat, so y'all couldn't see that. Like I said, it was a little time consuming because the cat could play with different things. I know y'all probably think that's silly. And now I have something more productive on there to help keep me in a positive mindset, which is the Momentum extension on top of all my productivity extensions. So I hope that you guys might want to check out Chrome. Again, it can be on any type of device, even Apple devices. All your extensions, link down below in blog posts that you guys like to use. Thank you guys for joining, and look for the next Techy Tool Time with Rachel next Tuesday. Bye, guys.